Alrighty then. So we're here, and honestly, there's not going to be much testing, quotation mark testing, because most of the things that actually needed tested we already did in 2 other previous streams. Today is going to be more just going over what is being changed and looking at the new recipes for the major progression change that's coming up. So let me get the changelog up here, and we'll go through the changelog, and then we'll get to the major change. There is a reactor change in here as well, which we'll not be really messing with, because I talked to Eric, and him and I will be doing a separate video together discussing what the reactor changes are going to be about. So I'll read it, we'll go over it, but I'm not really going to test it, as he's already done all of his testing and figuring, so we just need to go over what it is that's actually happening in this. So first off, there's a warning that helium, molten tin, molten sodium as a reactor coolant has been buffed. Your old reactor designs using these coolants might be able to explode, in quotation marks, because reactors' explosions are still disabled since reactors are still being changed. They will just delete their inventory when running. So shut those reactors down before updating and evaluate that they will explode before turning them back on. Reactors running other coolants are not in danger of exploding, but might not produce as many neutrons as previously. Then we have a note here that neutrons needed for breeder rods got reduced, but this change is not retroactive. Already crafted breeder rods might take a good bit longer to breed. Then there is a fix for open computers did not accept electric GT6 power, even though it should, but only if Galacticraft or Funky Locomotion were installed, but now it works. And that's one we actually tested previously, because we have Galacticraft in here, and we tested that open computers accepted GT6 electricity. So that one has already been tested by me, and I'm sure it's been tested by Greg as well. Fixed tools of other mods being single use on non-GT6 stuff too, instead of only being single use on GT6. Stuff was fixed. That's another one that we tested a while back. Fixed a bug with bedrock fluid springs also spawning in void worlds. Not testing that. That's something I'm sure Greg has already tested, but it's something that we had come up in Discord, I do believe. So they'll be happy to hear that that has been changed for anybody trying to do Skyblocks. Fix some weird bug with GT6 items and creative tabs. It's creative shit. Bear don't care. Fixed grass path conversion from Et Futurum to GT6 was a little bit iffy. That has been fixed. And I don't have Et Futurum in here to test it. And last time I did test it, I didn't see any issues with it, but apparently Greg's seen something with it and has since fixed it. Fixed an internal item mover function, duplicating items when stuff with a stack size greater than its normal maximum size is inserted. Typically happened with 19 plus size stacks of scrap in a queue hopper, but there was other ways too. So if you were duplicating shit with a queue hopper, probably ain't gonna be able to do it anymore. And let's see. This is the one that we just talked about. We had a video about not too long ago, that ALF3, which is the aluminum fluoride right here. We showed that this is now molten when it comes out of the mixer. The actual changelog says ALF3 because I think Greg likes to type ALF. Will now exit the mixer in molten state, which might end up melting or corroding your current water output pipes. Also, that one ALF3 recipe won't void silicon dioxide anymore since I now got space for that output. So that is that one. Already talked about it, already tried it. Changed if you click a dust in any eye to look at recipes producing it, it will also show crushed, purified, and refined ores. This is a really nice one. I was looking through some stuff here earlier, and when you click on the dust, it actually shows you every different way of getting that material. It does get a little bit tedious when you're trying to find the actual dust, because you've got to know, okay, this isn't going to put out a dust, this isn't going to put out a dust, and you got to kind of pick and choose. By the way, these tabs are in a different order now. You'll notice that the boxinator and unboxinator are at the end. Greg resorted them. I don't know if he has that in the changelog later, but if not, it is, and it's freaking great. Which the one here that I was looking this up for is kind of buried due to this change, because you have all of these that are doing niobium ore to refined niobium ore with manganese chloride, and the fluoride one here, which hydrogen fluoride for processing. So that's, is this a new recipe? Because I don't remember this recipe. But I don't think we can get niobium ore anymore, because it used to come out, you got purified from the sluice before, but now the only way to get that is actual niobium ore, which doesn't exist in the world. So yeah, this one's one that I still wish Greg would freaking hide shit. We don't have this as a material or a way to get it. Stop showing me this crap. And then this, which is another recipe change we'll go into later, but the one that is actually changed is buried down here on page 9, which is this one, and we'll go over that in a few minutes. That's the one thing that's kind of annoying about this change. I like the change, but it does have an annoyance to it as well. The grass path of Et Futurum was sole sand height. My grass path was full block. You no clipped into the floor while walking on the converting path. Ah, okay. Niobium ore does no longer exist, so I removed the crushed versions of niobium Or, oh, wait. I might have forgot to. Oops. I think I forgot to update, Greg. That's why I was 6 minutes early. I might have screwed up. Let's double check this and make sure. So hold on. Give me a minute. And we will double check this because I can't be testing if I'm on the wrong version. I literally think I got up, went to the bathroom, came back, sat down, and loaded this up and forgot to update. After you just got done telling me, hey, there's a new one coming out in just a minute. I might have done that. Oh, I'm already updating. I know I screwed up, Greg. I don't have to look. And I want to make sure I have the proper recipes when I show this, so I'm fixing it. I wish I could blame you for taking so long between updates this time and say that I'm out of practice and, you know, something stupid like that, but we all know I've screwed up and forgot to update before this when you were doing them once every month or whatever, so yeah, I can't blame you this time. I just got one of those chicken memories, and as soon as I left the room, everything I was supposed to do when I came back just kind of whooped right out of existence. Holy crap, what in the world is this? What the hell are ambiguous recipes? IC2 has a freaking ton of them. It's all red in my log. Let me see if I can. I'm bringing it up on the screen so you can see it. Hold on. I'll also send you the log. But this is what I was looking at. It says failed to add recipe, ignoring ambiguous recipe, and this is for stone brick, and it says ic2.core, and there's a whole shit ton of these. Is this supposed to be like this? Yeah, I actually launched Minecraft. It's loading up right now. See? So it's not crashing, but there's just a whole shit ton of these. We're down to Journey Maps color bullshit. Apparently there's a texture error somewhere. Texture block, missing icon, expander power tier 4.png. I don't even know what that's for. Oh, I think this might be my issue. I think this might be a texture because it says right there. It shouldn't be though, because we definitely don't change any of that crap. I know there's some textures missing, like, ain't there a couple fluids that got them screwed up? But yeah, game loaded fine. Let's switch this over to the right screen. And let me grab the log file real quick and send it to you, Greg, while this finishes doing its thing. How big is this latest log? It's still writing a something, so it doesn't actually tell me how big it is. But it'll actually go. There you go, Greg. Those recipe errors normally crash the game, so it shouldn't launch on those. Well, guess what? It did. Alright, so now, if we go in here with niobium being in there, as soon as everything gets finished loading here, it always takes a minute for rendering to get done and NEI to finish doing its thing. Usually, I have to sit here and walk around. I think this is Fastcraft doing this. I usually have to walk around before I record a video and make my base render, because my base never wants to render properly. Or I can just sit here on the pause screen for a few minutes and it'll like force it to fix. Really annoying. Anyway, so yeah, look, we don't have any crushed or wait a minute, crushed niobium pentoxide. We can get purified, but we can't get crushed, can we? Because I don't think this exists as an ore. Unless Greg changed something I don't know about. But other than that, it looks good. Still shows the ores, just not the crushed and purified for them. So, that's good. But I'm guessing if we click on this, oh, it actually deleted it here too. So now the bath is down to just that one. That is an awesome change, because that's going to make the other recipes look a lot better. Like the sluice, when you're looking at like this one, there's only 4 recipes, which is literally the minimum it could have. I like it. Hi, Etherin, and Morning Crazy. Alright, so now that that is fixed, and I'm not being such a dumbass, let's get back to the changelog here. Water-like non-source blocks will now only spread 2 instead of 7 blocks. Should reduce cave flooding in non-ocean biomes. We did a really short test stream for that one, and Greg undid some of his evil flooding he did in my vein that I just recently re-flooded again. So this one's nice. It ain't gonna make quite such a mess anymore. Morning, Lorenus. Change, the shredder now has better output management for certain things. And this is one I actually want to see in action, just to see how this works, if it works any better than it did before. What in the hell did you do? Orange fluoride. That has a place. Oh, it's a stupid blue Die again. I made a mistake and turned a lot of lapis into blue dye. I changed some pipes around, and when I did so, I sent lapis into the generifier on accident, which is kind of irritating the hell out of me. Wow, look at that thing go. So it's putting them out as tinies and the 1/72 now instead of just 2 stacks of 1/72. I think is what I'm seeing here, because normally you just have a whole shit ton of 1/72 in the first few slots. So that actually looks a lot better. It doesn't freeze it up quite as fast. Let's see. Did I miss? No, you did not miss them. I'm just getting to those. And shut up, Ether. I know it was a dumb. It was a single pipe change, dude. Well, it wasn't a single pipe change. It was one single connection that I screwed up. I changed this pipe out so we had ultimate pipes running for all of the mains, and I simply connected this one to the top here instead of over here, because this is the input going in, this is the output coming out. And there's no way of lapis going through this one. It literally has to go, out to where it belongs. But the generifier can take items in the top or the side. And so by me making that one click where I had that going in, screwed everything up. Okay, so back to changelog. Now that we've pointed out all the ways Bear's been an idiot today. Or lately. Let's see. Change. You can get niobium from smelting coltan or columbite now. I think that actually, if Greg chooses, could be removed. And I actually thought he did. So I think he needs to take that out of the change log. Yeah. Greg, you need to change. Yes, you definitely did undo that one. So you need to take that out of the change log. I was going to say, when I looked at niobium earlier, I did not see a way to smelt them, which is what I was expecting you to do. So that will be removed from the change log. That is not a change. The change is that the previous video that I showed of there being a way to now smelt this has been changed, and you still cannot smelt this. I think that was the last update. You could smelt it, now you can't smelt it. I don't remember what it was. Oh, that was a test stream pre-release, because we have pre-release on the server. That's what it was. Okay, so changed mariculture, diving, and scuba gear counts as chemical gas protection now, which is a nice change if you're using mariculture, because, well, if you're wearing... Now, wait a minute. Does that mean that an IC2 hazmat suit works for gas protection and chemical protection as well? Because it's scuba gear. And now we're getting into the actual thing that I'm wanting to test today. But let's go ahead and read past that one for a minute. We'll save the big shit for the end. Added mass storages and item barrels can now bundle and unbundle bare GT6 wires. We tested that in the previous test one. Alright, Greg. I've got gas downstairs. I got gas. Bear's got gas. I can make a hazmat suit if I need to go check it. But you can probably check it in the code way quicker than I can make a hazmat suit. Anyways, we changed that one, or we tested that one already. Here's another interesting one that has been done. I'm definitely going to be checking this one out when we start the new playthrough. Yeah, it works for chemicals and gases. Awesome. So, Firestone, pyrotheum, and octene can now be used similar to sodium persulfate to process refractory metals. And for anybody that's as forgetful as I am, you absolutely can make pyrotheum without thermal expansion, because we don't have thermal expansion in here. Greg does have his own recipe for making pyrotheum dust, so this is something you can do without thermal. It's just redstone, blaze powder, coal dust, and sulfur, or redstone, coal dust, sulfur, and blazing goo, and it gives you 2 pyrotheum dust. Greg had to remind me that these recipes existed because I was complaining that, well, I've never found firestone in all the time I've been mining in the nether, because it's like right under lava. And I never used thermal expansion, so I wouldn't be able to try out these recipes. And he's like, yeah, you're an idiot. I have my own pyrotheum. So here is what that recipe is. So gibbsite, which is aluminum hydroxide, can be processed with pyrotheum and water, and it will give you tiny purified ilmenite ore, your purified gibbsite, and then you're going to have a steam output. The idea is that these are hot, so the water is boiling and giving you steam. You have ancient debris that can be done, and that'll give you hubnerite. Arsenopyrite will give you hubnerite. That'll be a nice way of getting hubnerite, because there's a lot of arsenopyrite in Galena. Ancient debris has firestone as a byproduct. Oh, well, that's interesting. I haven't really done much with ancient debris, so that's something I actually never came across, I guess. So do I need to change my aluminum setup since Greg Dunn changed it? Yes, Shadow, you will. It's a very simple change. Yeah, you just don't need the smelter anymore. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of these recipes. I'm not going to go through all of them today. But you got things like zircon from azurite. This might be a really decent one that I might do. Because you get a tiny chance of getting zircon out of it currently, with some malachite, hafnium, and then a shit ton more azurite, which is pretty damn useless, and nickelite, which, meh, don't really care. If you're doing, if you want a decent material for pickaxes, zirconium is not a bad pickaxe material. Or if you're doing reactors, you're going to need zirconium for your reactor rods. So that might be a really good way. You don't really have a whole lot of uses for hafnium other than THC, and you're going to get plenty of copper out of everything else in here. So yeah, I think that's one I would probably definitely use it for. But then you see the Firestone recipe. This is way better in my opinion than this one, because who the hell wants more malachite? So getting zircon out of it, way better in my opinion. Okay, so here is all of the reactor stuff. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save the reactors. I'm not reading through all this crap right now. I'm going to save this for the one that me and Eric do. If you're interested in it, go check the change log. I want to get to the actual stuff that's going to be um, interesting for anybody starting out or doing early game stuff, and what I'm actually here for testing. So, the major change is in like 2 recipes. And let's read the thing here first, which is niobium and tantalum now have a chemical processing path after aluminum tier. Niobium may require you picking up molten aluminum from a crucible if you don't have tungsten for a smelter yet. So, the change is that when you take tantalite, which is where you get your niobium and your tantalum from, you can do a refractory recipe as well, which will give you columbite here. And these should be all the same thing, which they are. In a sluice, when you process it, you're going to get columbite, coltan, pyrolusite, ilmenite, and then more tantalite. Your 2 main ways of getting niobium is columbite and coltan. Your columbite, Greg loves his manganese chloride. He loves pulling manganese out of every ore, leaching it with hydrochloric acid. Um, and then there's this hydrogen fluoride one, which will give you extra columbite and no fluid out. So this would basically use up some of your hydrogen fluoride. If for some reason you have butt tons of it, don't know why you would. But let's get to the actual dust here. So we'll go to the shredder, columbite, electrolyzer. Your columbite, you will need a 100 EU. And guess what? I need to eat. All this reading and not paying attention. Yeah, I don't know much about the reactor stuff myself either. Yeah, that's why me and Eric are going to go over it separately. Anyways, so your columbite, let's get back to this. It'll be easier to do it this way. So, columbite dust in an electrolyzer, you're going to need 100 EU for that. We'll get into that in a minute. And that will give you niobium pentoxide and pyrolusite. Niobium pentoxide will be bathed in molten aluminum, and that will give you niobium and molten alumnia. So you're basically just stripping the oxygen off of the niobium pentoxide and putting it onto the aluminum, which makes it back into alumnia. It's chemistry. Oxygen loves aluminum. Aluminum hates to be by itself. It loves to have oxygen. So this is how you're going to get your niobium. Now the coltan is literally just going to centrifuge in a 28 RU centrifuge, so that'll still be bronze, into tantalite and columbite, so you will get a little bit of tantalite and a little bit of columbite from it. So this will give you a little bit more of your niobium. And then tantalite is the other one that has changed, which is it is going to need 100. This is the same one that's been in, the same reason why we haven't been doing, we haven't been able to do a tantalum crucible because it needed 100 EU, which is aluminum. Sorry, I had to get a drink. My throat's a little rough. I don't want cough in your ear anymore. So you're going to get tantalum pentoxide and pyrolusite. And none of these can be smelted directly. You have to electrolyze them down. And then your tantalum pentoxide, this is the one I was really looking forward to and I really think looks nice, is tantalum pentoxide, 7 of them mixed with potassium fluoride, which is a new chemical that we haven't had before now. Potassium fluoride is literally going to be potassium carbonate mixed with hydrogen fluoride, and that'll give you potassium fluoride and water. And you also have this one, which we'll get to in a minute, but this is 7, 8, and you get 20 of the one I just said we'd get to in a minute. You're going to get 20 of them out. So you're going to have tantalum pentoxide, potassium fluoride, and hydrogen fluoride, which is going to give you potassium heptafluorotantalate and water. And then this is the recipe we were just looking at, which is going to be potassium heptafluorotantalate, 10 of them, which is going to give you 4 of the potassium fluoride. And it took 20 of those is what you were going to make from 8 of these. So it's going to be a nice loop. So this is going to be very similar to other recipes where you're just going to loop the potassium fluoride back and forth through this system. It's not going to get used up. And you're going to get tantalum, which that looked like, is that actually a gem? Yeah, that's a gem. So you're actually going to get solid tantalum out of this rather than a dust. Do you intend that, Greg? That seems really strange that you're going to get a solid chunk of tantalum. But anyways, so your potassium heptafluorotantalate is mixed with molten sodium or bathed in molten sodium. So you're going to get your tantalum, sodium fluoride, and the potassium fluoride. The sodium fluoride will then need to be electrolyzed to give you fluorine, which will be mixed back in to make your hydrogen fluoride with hydrogen. So this one is just going to have to be cleaned and made back into the hydrogen fluoride. And then you have molten sodium, which, like Greg said, is going to be a little bit difficult. It's not going to be terrible because of the fact that it's not acidic. Its temperature is only 370 K, so it's something that can be done in ceramic or quartz. Hell, I think you can even do that in a stone crucible if you really wanted to. So you're going to have to get sodium first. And you can do that with eucalyptus dust will give you sodium dust. You can use a burner mixer with carbon and molten sodium carbonate to get it. And you actually get pure sodium out of black fluorite when you process that. Blue fluorite, that's the generic one. Glauconite will give you pure sodium. It looks like most of the fluorites are going to give you pure sodium. Sodium ore doesn't exist. And then this is just a recycle of all the other ones. The electrolyzer. So this is the one where this is the recycling recipe for that sodium, which is only 28. Sodium hydroxide is something you can get from bathing sodium aluminate. But the main way is salt. So this is probably going to be the simplest way to get your sodium other than processing fluorite. You know what I'm saying. So you just have to take your sodium hydroxide and electrolyze that down to get your sodium. And you also have salt water, stuff like that. And this one that nobody's ever going to give a shit about doing. So this is going to be a major change, because with this change, you're going to have to make aluminum before you can actually cook tungsten. You can process tungsten, because processing tungsten has not changed. It's still literally these three machines, and you get tungsten out of it. But without the tantalite process and the niobium process, you can't make a crucible without another mod. There is Twilight Crucibles, and I do believe there's one in the Between Lands you can use. But if you're sticking with just normal overworld ways with no outside mod, you literally have to have the tantalite, because it's the only one that is high enough to do tungsten. So you will have to do aluminum processing to get an aluminum MV electrolyzer to be able to process the niobium and the tantalum to make those two crucibles, and then you can actually smelt your tungsten to get your smelter. So there will be some moving things around from a crucible with a measuring pot or jug, but at least now it's not going to be moving around acid stuff. So you aren't going to have to make a specialized crucible just for this and then get rid of it because you don't need it anymore. So I completely like this change, because I always found it weird that we did tungsten before we did aluminum and titanium. So this being changed this way, I like. We can still process it and get it to dust form, but you ain't cooking it. It puts smelters just a little bit further behind where they were, which I don't have a problem with. I like this change. Yep, it crystallizes. Okay, so it is meant to be a solid chunk of tantalum. I need to get back to reading all the comments here because I think I've missed a few. Oh, I absolutely love chemistry. I don't know much about it, but I love doing it. The molten sodium would be difficult. Okay, so I guess I didn't miss that much. All right, so that is the testing. Like it says in the title, from what Greg has said, this is a release candidate. Most of his changes are done. It's going to be released in the next 5 days ish. Don't know exactly when. If he feels like speaking up and giving us more of an answer, that's to him. But as usual, this is the testing. If you guys see anything that I don't see, let us know. Go to Greg's IRC channel, to our Discord, whichever. And if you come to the Discord, I will send it along to Greg. You can also go to his forums and post it there. Like I said, I will be getting with Eric as soon as the release is actually out and we can put it on the server. Then me and Eric will get together and we will look over and discuss what has been changed with the reactor stuff. Yes, as you said, sometime before Weed Day. So sometime in the next 5 days, it'll be out. So that is your testing. It's going to change things as soon as this release is out, and I have the server updated, and me and Eric get together to look at the reactor stuff. Unless our schedules don't mix well, I will be restarting, and that way we can go over setting up all of this new stuff and going through the processing. And I will also be going through the book and finding any quests that need to be changed because I'm quite sure there's going to be a few. And I'm going to have to change some videos. Basically, I'm going to have to redo some videos and set some of the old ones as private because they're going to be out of date now. Thank you, Greg. I swear he loves doing this just so I have to remake videos I've already made like 6 times. That damn crucible smelting video, crucible progress video, I swear I've done that a million times. But anyways, have a good one. Take it easy. Keep an eye out for the update. There will be a post in Discord in the mod updates when it comes out. There will be a mod pack update as soon as I get the mod pack updated. And you can also keep an eye on Greg's website and his IRC. There will be a post in there as well. Have a good one. Take it easy. Fuck off, and I'll see you later.